YouTube family, what is up, everyone? This is the original Grown B, and today I want to talk to you about saving Call of Duty. The gameplay you're watching is a little challenge slash goal that I've been kind of setting for myself on the game to game basis because I gotta be honest, I'm not having the type of fun that I'm used to having in a Call of Duty game. I'm not excited the way I'm normally excited about a Call of Duty game. So having these little challenges for myself is what really kind of allows me to get on this game every night or every other night, especially if I don't have any friends that are getting on. For me, being able to play with my friends really drives this game, and it hasn't really been like that in the past. I've been able to get on Call of Duty and have fun, by myself, running into a lobby solo, and it's very, very difficult for me to do that and still enjoy everything. And honestly, a lot of it comes down to the choices that have been made in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. How can we save this game? Well, the reality is you can't save it. You cannot save Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But I'm not misleading you with this title because I'm not really talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare when I say, how can we save Call of Duty? When I say, how can we save Call of Duty, I mean the future of this particular franchise, the future of this game. Because honestly, Call of Duty is a really big part of a lot of gamers' lives. Especially when it comes to playing with your friends, getting into lobbies, having that nostalgic feeling come back from other different games that you've played. I think Call of Duty has the greatest potential to kind of fill people with that nostalgia, but I feel like we have gotten so far away from that. And one of the scariest things about Modern Warfare is we're getting to the point where the developers are flat out saying, we hear what you want in this game, and we're not going to give it to you. I think this is the first time, although we've technically felt that in some previous Call of Duties or some previous aspects of a particular, Call of Duty game, but now they're saying it. They're saying, you know what? We understand that this is what you want or this is what you don't want, but we want to go in a different direction. That is more terrifying than I think anything we've ever experienced, not just in a Call of Duty game, but just video games in general. That's scary to me. And obviously, there are going to be times where you make decisions, and certain decisions that you make are going to upset one part of the community or the other. You are never, ever, ever going to be able to make everyone happy. And I think it's important that you take a look at different experiences that people are having and use those to advise what type of changes you make to the game. However, when you change things that are already working, and then when the community says, hey, this worked pretty well before you changed it, can you change it back? And they say no, that's scary. That's scary to me. So a few examples are dead silence being a perk. I never really used dead silence as a perk. And to be honest, I do think that footsteps are way too loud. But I'm not one of those people that ever thought it was realistic that it would become a perk at all. But at the same time, when everyone in the community is saying this worked better this way, can you return it to its original form? And the developers say no, that's scary. When people say, why do we have to go to a different lobby every single time we play a match? One of the cool things about playing was getting a rhythm and getting an understanding about how our enemy played and the different tactics that they used, and actually being able to play them multiple times in a row. Now, eventually you get to the point where it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm tired of playing against these people. Let me go into a new lobby. That's great, but why can't that be our decision? It doesn't seem like it's very difficult to look at a situation and say, hey, they're telling us that this worked fine before, we changed it and they want it back, but now you want to create this different environment for Call of Duty that we didn't ask for. That's a terrifying thing as well. It's not so much, oh, I want this gun buffed or I want this gun nerfed or I think that this play style is too, too dominant. That's totally different from you changing what we didn't think was broken in the first place. And consensus is a really, really big deal to me. The fact that I don't think I've ever heard anyone in the community say, man, I sure love being tossed into a brand new lobby after every single match. No. I've never heard anyone in the community say, man, I'm sure glad that we don't get to vote on the maps that we play anymore and we just get thrown into whatever the hell they want us to be in. I've never heard anyone say that. That's when things begin to get scary, and that's when things begin to go in the direction of, I'm not sure if the developers really understand that for a while we did feel like they understood what we wanted and produced on what we wanted. And for the first time ever, I feel like we're being listened to, but I don't feel like there is any execution in terms of getting us to a point where we're happy and comfortable with everything that's going on. For instance, people saying, hey, you've created a game where more people are in the match than ever before. 10v10, 20v20, which I thought existed, but I've never seen it. 32v32. When we hear about these large scale game modes, we're thinking, oh, this is great. In the past, when I've had to leave my friends out of the lobby because it wasn't big enough, I can now bring my friends along. Except that's not the case. We're still restricted to just doing 6-man parties, regardless if it's 10v10, regardless if it's ground war. And I totally understand. I get that they don't want big, gigantic teams of 32 party members getting together and just completely ruining any potential fun that another player is going to be able to have by just destroying them as a big squad unit of pro pub stomping players. I get that. But at the same time, why can't I go into a 10v10 with 8 of my friends? Why can I go into a 10v10 with 10 of my friends? Why can't I go into a ground war with 9 of my friends? To me, that doesn't make any sense. And to be honest, the way that I would counter this argument that they don't want these big ass parties going into lobbies and destroying everyone, I would counter that by saying that would get other players to start actually going out and making new friends. So if you realize that every time you go into a ground war, there's a party of 6 guys or 8 guys or 10 guys or whatever, maybe it's time to actually start making friends so that you can go into matches and you can go into lobbies where you have a bigger party and you're able to have more fun. I mean, this idea that you don't want big groups, I understand that you want to encourage, other players to be able to play alone and not worried about getting destroyed, but why not encourage them to make friends so they can have bigger parties? That doesn't make any sense to me. So when we go out and we say, man, this is the kind of stuff that we want, and they say, yeah, I know you guys want that, but I don't think it's going to work. That is the scariest thing that I think can happen to this game. And so my solution, what do you think would happen if you could have a good Call of Duty game, but you had to wait 2 years for it or 3 years for it? Would you be satisfied? Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, he's probably going to tell us that the developers just need to not make a Call of Duty every year. If you were thinking that, then you're wrong. Because it doesn't really matter how much time they get to make a Call of Duty, because each developer gets 2 years to make their game anyway. I think Treyarch is going to have the fastest turnaround because they are basically making the game immediately after Infinity War as opposed to Sledgehammer getting their 2 years. But the reality is, it doesn't matter how much you tweet them. It doesn't matter how much you make a video saying this is what you guys should do. It doesn't matter how many times you expose them. The reality of the matter is, until you take away what matters, which is your $64.79, they will do whatever they want with this video game. I promise. And so when I say if you had to take 2 years to get a Call of Duty made that you could enjoy, what I mean is don't buy Call of Duty for 2 years. When those developers and Activision and everybody sees, okay, these kids are serious, or these men and women or whatever are serious about what the fuck they want in their game, then you will see changes. I know that this would be more difficult for some than others. There are people who literally upload to YouTube for a living, and Call of Duty literally drives the revenue that pays their bills. But if you ask any wealthy person about what would happen if they lost all their money, they are all very confident that they could get it back. Hard work is what gets you in a position to be able to upload to YouTube for a living. And if you're just playing these games for fun, then there should be no reason why it should be a big deal for you to take 2 years off and go play something else. With that being said, if you like the video, like it. If you think someone else might like it, share it. And if you want to see more, I really hope that you would subscribe.